tolerate it. But it went on and on and on and on. Now, look, you will pay for the milk for the children, I will pay for the rent. You will pay for the light, I will pay for the gas. Oh my God. Unthinkable things. You pay for the mango, I will pay for the bananas. Right? You pay for this and I pay. This is a type of talk which was unthinkable between husband and wife. If a husband cannot understand this much, that whatever is ours, and if he has not been able to be so faithful to the wife, that even if she is earning her income at home, to understand that it is not wajib upon the wife to contribute. Not wajib at all. It is only for the husband to maintain the family. When the wife gives, she is giving voluntarily. It is not wajib upon the wife to give. It is wajib upon the husband to provide. The wife may refuse. She has a right of proprietorship. The property of a woman in Islam is hers, not husband's. She may say, I am not contributing. Let us cut our coat according to our cloth. We will reduce our expenses, but we will live on your wage, not on mine. Husband cannot say that you have to pay. When they give in, they are obliging. When the wife gives her packet to the husband, she is proving her love and affection for the family. Then to talk about petrol from me and gas from you and light from me and bananas from you and the children's milk from you and the towels from me. Or when the wife comes, it's a shame. Something which we never thought of has come into our lives because of this new civilization, which is out and out un-Islamic. There was a time when it was said that if the father, Islam says this, if the father rises and sees his son's caught here, he puts a hand in and brings out money, that £5 or £500, whatever. The son has no right to say, Papa, you have stolen or you have taken without my permission. He just has no right. Islam says that the property of the son belongs to father also. But of the wife, no. Of the wife belongs to the one. You just cannot raise and open the purse and say, because it's my wife's, it is her property. If you want those £5, say please. And she can refuse. So, if we had understood this, there would have been no problem. There is no his or hers. It is ours. What will happen when the children are grown? There is a young boy and a young girl. You say, this boy is yours, this girl is mine. It's ours. So, this idea of his and hers has really demolished the whole family fabric. And it's for this reason that we are having problems. What is needed now? The children intend to get married. Either the parents sit and tell them what is going to come next and understand, or a society, that is a community, appoints a bureau, not for solving the problems of divorce, but first for teaching them what marriage is and what engagement means, so that they may live happily together and the divorce may not come. Do you know what is the rate of divorce at the moment? In this community, nobody knows. In our community also we don't know. But files after files, papers after papers pile up. Sometimes we come to 30, 40 divorce pending cases in one small Jamaat. And if you go deep into it, it's nothing. Either disturbances from there, interferences from there. It can be resolved, it can be solved. Only if people understood that after all this, there is death. There is death. There is accountability and answerability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If women were told from the beginning what is the meaning of a husband, and if the husband was told from the beginning what is the meaning of a wife, there would have been a difference. I'm talking this because all these things are brought as objections against Islam. Islam has solved it. Christianity has no divorce. Hinduism had no divorce. Church of England does not approve of divorce. Courts may give divorce, but the church does not. Islam came with this, the Western civilization at that time, the scholars of West criticized Islam. Today they have understood the wisdom of divorce. It is absolutely necessary at the stage when we cannot reconcile, which we may say is a necessary evil. It can't continue. If we understand this, that it is in a very extreme case that we talk of divorce and not otherwise, then inshallah ta'ala our family lives will be quite different from. We used to be told that in order to reduce divorces, we must have two things. One, education to the extreme, so that the educated boys get educated wives. We agreed. Two, that they may be allowed to see each other and understand. We agreed. Islam, as I said earlier, allows that they meet and talk, provided the intention is marriage, not shopping. Secondly, education, Bismillah. We tried both. The higher the education, the more complicated the reasons became. And then there was a time when I used to be in the Africa Federation. People used to come up with great rhetorics and oratorial contests on the forum saying, Mullah Sahab, you are educating the boys, what about the girls? Who will take our girls? Who will take the hands of our girls in marriage if you only educate the boys? At that time I was really shaken. But what happened is that I came to London in 1973, when I was not even living here. I met those boys. And I also met those girls who had this complaint. And I told the boys then, why don't you get married here with these highly sophisticated, educated girls of the community? And the answer they gave was, we would rather have half-educated of East Africa. Why? We said, we want wives. We don't want bosses. They told me here. We want wives. We don't want that sort of equality which was going to bring the whole family loggerhead. And to the woman who is educated, she says, I now am prepared to get married to a fairly educated person. Don't give me an ignorant, illiterate partner, but give me a fairly. I am a doctor. It's not necessary that my husband be a doctor. So the question of compatibility is not on education. Sometimes you may have an educated animal. What you need is an enlightened man to get married to, so that you may have a happy life. We agreed to both. That was not the answer. The answer is to understand what are the duties and responsibilities of a partner in life. If that is understood, inshallah ta'ala, everything should be all right. May Allah prevent us from the calamity of divorces. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. After having gone through several subjects in series, I thought that we must now as well come to discuss briefly the fundamentals and the principles of our faith, although I do recollect that we have had lectures on this subject when we began this program about 6 to 7 years ago. By that time, we were still in the old buildings, and many brothers and sisters were not even able to attend, primarily because there was no room for many to sit and to be accommodated. Secondly, the program was still in its infancy. But I see that there is a need, and for that matter there is an urgent need, for us to be aware that we follow principles and our fundamentals in a surrounding and environment which is not at all friendly. It is not even amenable. It is not even congenial. Not only that, but it is against Islam and it preaches values against Islam. And in preaching it, it also makes it look so plausible and so good that our daughters and our sons are attracted by. Many questions arise in the minds, and perhaps because of some scruple, people even don't ask and the questions remain unanswered. So we will try to touch upon certain aspects of the problems that we are facing and tackle the subject of our principles and fundamentals and faith in the light of those problems. First and foremost, early in the morning when we have Gujarati lectures here, I am trying to explain that Muslims were the father of civilization and knowledge. I give instances from history to explain that it was Islam which encouraged search of knowledge. And the Muslims who followed into various branches of sciences, pioneered in the subject, became fathers in ophthalmology, in physics, in biology, in even astrology and astronomy, and in navigation, in the art of literature, in various fine arts, in calligraphy. In every branch of science, Muslims have had a lead. They laid the foundation, and then there was a follow-up by the West. It will not be at all an exaggeration to say, and this is borne out by the facts in history, that when Muslims wore clothes and knew how to manufacture them, the European countries were going about practically naked. There were no civilizations worth its name here, and they know about it, and they even admit it. What happened next is that as science was transmitted, knowledge was related, and people translated from Arabic into Latin and Greek those things which lay dormant. Thinkers in the West started developing, which they called an era of Renaissance, or the era of rebirth. With that era of rebirth and Renaissance, when knowledge was supreme and mighty, there came several schools of thoughts which today have become the collective reservoir of thinking in the Western civilization. This is what we must understand. In the West, in England, for example, you will find people, thinkers tell you that material is all in all, matter. Here again you will find people who will talk about capitalism. Money is all in all. Money makes the man go round. Here in England, you'll find people talk about communism, socialism, scientific socialism. Here in England, you'll find people talk about hedonism. That means whatever pleases you is good. Whatever engenders pleasure, good. Follow it, because it pleases you. Here is liberalism. Here everything, it's a hodgepodge of several things which started with Renaissance And one Muslim living in this country depends upon the confrontation, depends upon the meeting he has, who he meets, and he will find that he is subjected to the preaching which is foreign to Islam. And for few minutes, he pauses and thinks. These are two divergent and different roads. Which one is correct? Which one is wrong? It's a serious thing. Here, we are told that man has got to be rational. And in the name of rationalism, we are being told that Islam, or for that matter any religion, is nothing but a package of nonsense. Because rationalism, whatever can be reasoned out. Here we are told that we must be pragmatic and empiricist. That means whatever can be proved in practice, whatever can be seen and touched and felt is true. The rest is all humbug. Now tell me, the collection of all these thoughts can be reflected and is reflected in the newspapers, in the media, that is television, and on radio. Sometimes sit down to critically only analyze the types of programs being shown on television. Take a Sunday paper which has got feature articles and just analyze news plus review plus business articles. Just analyze to which category and to which division of literature these things belong. You will find that we are in a very subtle manner being told to leave all that which goes in the name of religion, to believe in something which is pragmatic, something which is empirical, so that we are practical people, and that's all. So much so that there was a time when, at least in the name of death, termination of life, people used to tremble and say, we are going to meet our Lord, we are going to account for our deeds. Death used to bring many people back to the fold of religion. Today, in a very subtle manner, there are two things being preached again and again. One, what is called in common language, mercy killing. If a man is suffering from terminal disease and the doctor knows the pain that a man is suffering from, therefore he must be dispatched. She must be dispatched. Because if you actually kill him, you are actually being merciful to him. One. And last night, in the news, a doctor was released and acquitted by the court. I heard it myself. Although he had prepared a suicide machine, which anyone willing could use, and if he or she used it, the moment she pressed the button and the drug went into his body or her body, heart would stop. That would be self-killing or suicide by intent, by assent. And a lady used it and she died, and the doctor was actually brought to court, and the judge acquitted him and said it was a voluntary death. And not only that, but some ladies of old age commented on it, saying that yes, this was the most graceful way of dying. Now we know how to die. So you can see now, in a very subtle way, the question behind all this is that there is a difference when I am a Muslim. And when I say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what we do not really understand, and we should understand, but we don't really understand, that this formula of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah is a very important formula. If a person wants to become a Christian today, he will be baptized. He will be taken to the church, baptized. Some water will be sprinkled upon him. Or if he becoming Jehovah's Witness, he will be submerged in water and comes out. And there are some chanting and all that. Perhaps becoming a Hindu, you have to wear a janoi, and so many things. But say you want to become a Muslim. There is no janoi, there is no baptism, there is nothing. Say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and you are in the fold. Is it not so? But the condition is, say it with understanding and say it with your pleasure. No force, no coercion, no pressure can make you a Muslim. Why? Just say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Because it has got deeper meaning. The moment I say La ilaha illallah, there isn't any existence worth worshipping but Allah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and Muhammad is his prophet. At that very moment, I accept one thing, that all the values, all isms, all ideologies, all idiosyncrasies, all that goes in the name of postulate, everything is batil and void. The only thing which is true is that which Allah has told me through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a challenge. Now in practical life, the Prophet says Allah doesn't want you to take your own soul. You can't kill